Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Zero Excuses podcast. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Kenyon. Got a special edition lined up for you guys. As many of you know through some of my social media posts that a multi-time guest here on the show, Dokos, suffered a heart aneurysm while he was working out at his home gym. And long story short, he was one of the lucky few who actually lived to tell his tale about that experience, and is currently on the mend from the surgery to deal with that issue. And a couple days ago, he made a quick post. He just needed a little quick, pick me up, and posed the question of, hey, what's one or two things that I've helped you guys with that helped improve your fitness, your nutrition, whatever it may be. And it kind of got the gears turning in my mind to record an episode about my personal top three takeaways that I've gotten personally from Dokos. And, you know, he's, like I said, he's been on the show multiple times, and, you know, you guys definitely should go back and listen to those episodes. I'll link those up in the show notes, but I'll also drop them at kenyonziska.com/Dokos1, Dokos 2, and Dokos 3. And also, he has a GoFundMe page set up to help with the mounting medical expenses, and I will link that up directly at kenyonziska.com/Dokos. So my first top takeaway that I've got personally from Dokos is to concentrate on quality instead of quantity. He's provided a lot of workout programming for me, and he really concentrates on making sure that you do all of your movements with proper form, and make sure that you start out light and get the movements down correctly before you start getting heavy. And this was something that I started to apply to so many other things, including, you know, this very podcast here, other aspects of my life. If you're going to do something, do it right. And if that means sacrificing doing other things to make sure that you get it right the first time, that, you know, that's something that is key in all aspects of your life. So yeah, quality over quantity. My number two takeaway from Dokos is to just let loose and be yourself. Let your own personality come out. And, you know, I was kind of talking about this episode a little bit with my wife, Jamie, before I sat down to record this tonight. And we were talking about, I almost wanted to title this, Not Worry About What Other People Think, but I really think that Aaron gives a shit about gives a shit about what a lot of people think, and he has impacted a lot of people's lives. But, you know, when I see what Aaron does and how he goes about putting out his information, he does so with his own unique personality, and he lets that come out. And this is definitely something that I need to work on a lot personally. So I definitely look at Aaron as someone who simply lets his own personality come out when he's interacting with people or putting out information. So this is something that I definitely look to as an example of how to do that, and it's something that I am personally trying to implement a lot more because, you know, I'm definitely not the most polished and articulate person in the world, but you know, that's something I'm working towards, and I see a lot of how to do that within how Aaron interacts with people. So my last top takeaway from Dokos is to simply just share your story with everyone who wants to hear it, and to put yourself out there in a manner that allows people to connect with your story. I remember that when I had my first interview with Aaron, and he dropped a bombshell on me, and I actually didn't know, you know, whether to go down that rabbit hole or to dance around the issue. But, you know, there are numerous experiences that we all have that kind of define our lives that we may not be comfortable talking about, but the more that we can talk about these things, the more that we are going to realize that we're not alone in these little bumps in the road or major hiccups that we have in our lives, that that really have a serious impact on how we show up in the world. And the more that we can share these various issues that we all experience, I think the more that we will find that we aren't all that bad off, or that we will connect with other people who have been through similar situations that we have gone through. And that in the grand scheme of things, that all of these things shape us to be the people that we are, and that as bad as some of these situations that we go through in our lives are bad at the time, that they give us some things that will help us become better people in the long run. And that, like I said, they kind of suck in the moment, but they're going to build our personality, they're going to harden us, and that they're going to make us stronger in the long run. And when Aaron shared that little bombshell in our first interview, that was one thing that I know strengthened him. And to kind of like put a bow on this whole episode, I know that this little issue, well, it's not a little issue by any means, but what Aaron went through recently, I know is going to strengthen him. He's already mentioned that he's going to, or at least thinking about writing a book. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I know his mindset is so strong that this is going to be something that he's going to build upon. I know there's a lot of people out there who may really look at this as such a detriment to their lives, but it's just in the long run, I know Aaron is gonna look at this as a bump in the road. And yes, it was a serious scare for him and his family. That it's gonna serve him in the long run, and I think that's a great example for a lot of us to look towards. What I've gone through in my life really pales in comparison to what he recently went through. And I'm grateful that Aaron has connected with me through this like crazy Facebook online world. So Aaron, if you are listening to this episode, just I wanted to make this episode to let you know that you've impacted me greatly, and I know that you've impacted a ton of other people out there, and I just have nothing but respect for you, man. And I wish nothing for the best for your speedy recovery. So again, if you guys want to help Aaron and his family out in even just a small way, you can do so at kenyonziska.com/Dokos, and that's spelled DOKOS. And I'll link that up to the GoFundMe page that you can, even $1 or $2 will go a long way to support him and his family and defraying these medical expenses that they find themselves, being thrust upon themselves at this time. It'll be greatly appreciated. So that's all I have for you guys for this episode. Appreciate you tuning in, and I will talk with you guys again soon.